Hey guys, and welcome to PlayStation Access. Now today I'm going to be talking about a game called Kingdom Come Deliverance. We've already covered it a few times on the YouTube channel, so you might have seen videos where me and Rob were just talking about how excited we were. But after getting hands-on with the game for a few hours at a recent event, I've decided to make a whole video just breaking down the combat to this open world RPG. So let's start with health. That seems like a great place to start. Now, first of all, health does not automatically regenerate in Kingdom Come Deliverance, and when you're in combat, you'll know because you've got the two little sword symbols at the top, you cannot use things like health potions, food, or even bandages to stop bleeding. So you've constantly got to think about your health. And even if you do use them outside of battle, they actually work slowly. So none of that quickly take a potion and top your health up stuff. If you do get injured in battle, it'll actually affect your movements. So for example, if you break your legs because you've jumped too far, you're not going to be able to run away. You can't even level up your health, increase your maximum health, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be human. Humans can't extend their life force. You could level up your stamina, but not your HP. Now, since we've mentioned stamina, it's probably important to note this is actually a buffer for your health. So for example, if you take a hit, it'll actually deplete your stamina bar first. If your stamina is fully depleted, then you will take damage. However, they both match up. So if you have a low health, you have a low stamina as well. Now, like I've said, you can level up your stamina using perks that help it do things like regain faster or give you more. From when I last played this, they've even added a new feature. As your stamina depletes, as it's running out, the screen will now start to flash and fade into a blue. That means your stamina is low. This has been added so you don't have to keep watching the stamina bar. You can just focus on the battle and know exactly what is happening. In fact, this was added after player feedback. Now, since we've mentioned HP and stamina, there's one other tiny little bar you might notice down the bottom, and that purple bar is actually the enemy's health. It's the health of the enemy you're targeting. It's very small because, in theory, Warhorse didn't even want to add an enemy HP bar. They actually prefer for you to listen and look at the enemy and get your audio and visual cues from where they are health-wise, but it was added after player feedback. For Warhorse, it's all about you keeping your eyes on the enemy. So now let's talk about the weapons you can use in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Now you've got axe, bow, mace, polearm, sword, and if you want to count it, unarmed, which basically means you're going to run around punching things. Now you can find, buy, or steal these items, but there's no crafting, there's not like a blacksmith option. However, there is something called the grindstone. Now, weapon durability does decrease in this game. And it's not quite like it's fine up until the sword breaks or hits sort of 10%. If it's at 50% durability, it does 50% of the damage. The grindstone, it works a bit like a mini game. For example, you press L2 for the wheel to go round, R2 to place the sword. You then change the sword's angle, and there's sort of, on a sword, for example, 3 different places that you would need to grind it to get it nice and sharp. However, if you get it wrong, you could actually end up destroying the weapon. So you need to think about it. Now, all weapons have 3 main attack stats: slashing, stabbing, and blunt. For example, and it gets a little bit like rock, paper, scissors, stabbing cannot break heavy armor. It can't pierce it. But blunt can if the blunt numbers are higher than the defense stat on the piece of armor. I mean, it does make sense when you think about it. You can also change your weapon in combat. So for example, if you were using a sword, you could then pull out your bow, especially if you want to start doing some range damage, because archers are dangerous. I learned the hard way a couple of times. Let's talk about armor. There are 3 main types of armor. Unsurprisingly, they are light, medium, and heavy. Now you get a total of 18 slots for items, and 14 of those are for armor. 4 of them are for leg, 6 are for upper, 4 are for head, and 2 of them are for things like rings. Now, rings don't affect armor. For example, wearing rings might give you some plus charisma because they make you look like a fancy noble. Heavy armor is, unsurprisingly, the armor with the best defense, but it also greatly restricts your movement. For example, if you go into battle with a heavy helmet on, you could have almost no visibility, which isn't ideal. However, you're then protected from stray arrows, because a single headshot could take you down otherwise. It's also worth noting that because heavy armor is so heavy, you can't carry more than a full set. That just wouldn't be realistic. So you also need to think about carrying the best armor for the way you want to play. Now, while you may be able to swap weapons in battle, you cannot change armor during battle, because that would be unrealistic, wouldn't it? Wait, sorry guys, I just need to put my heavy chest plate on. If you could just hold it. It's not happening, is it? So you need to think about what you want to wear before you go into battle. But you can mix and match. You don't need to wear a full heavy plate. You could maybe have light legs on, a heavy helmet, and medium chest piece. Now, weapon and armor cannot be upgraded because you upgrade a skill, not an item. For example, if you want to upgrade a sword skill, you would upgrade your swordsmanship. Now, every few levels, you'll unlock a new perk, and you choose the perk for the build that you want to create as a character. And this also means you won't be able to unlock them all in a single playthrough. For example, one of the perks means that when your sword's durability is wearing down, so as it's breaking, it becomes more poisonous. So you need to offset that. Do you want to have maximum damage but no poison, or have a weaker sword that inflicts poison upon your enemies? So now that we've done health, stamina, talked about weapons and armor, it's probably a good time to actually talk about how the combat's going to work. So first things first, and as I've mentioned previously, you'll know when you're in battle because there'll be a 2 swords symbol at the top of the screen. You lock on to one enemy at a time and you stay constantly locked on. If you'd like to break the lock on, you can hold circle to do this. Now once you're locked on and ready to attack, you will notice a 5-pointed star with a little circle in the middle of your enemy. Now which part of this star is highlighted in red is the part you're going to attack. So for example, if the left hand side is in red, you're going to attack from the left. Now you can even choose which direction you want to slash in, so if you want to go for the head, you can do that, and you can then attack using R1 or R2. Warhorse are all about the visual cues as well, so when you're in battle, you'll have to look at which way your enemy is holding their sword so that you can attack the side that is not being defended. Now, R1 is a weak attack and R2 is a heavy attack. Now, weak attacks can be aimed at the face, which is the upper zone, and heavy attacks can be aimed anywhere on the body. Once you get very skilled, and the game does introduce it through a tutorial, you can also chain strikes, which really does keep your enemy on the back foot if you really want to go for the attack. You can also feint with your attacks as well. It's a bit of a trick. You can hold R2 to charge it and at the last moment change the direction you're attacking. So if your enemy is particularly clever, they might have anticipated that you're going to come from the right and were ready to defend. The last moment you switch and you feint to the left. It's tricky to get, but invaluable as you get through the game and into those higher level battles. Now, of course, you can also block. That's what you need to be able to do. You hold L1 to block, but this does drain your stamina. Now, if you have no stamina left and you get hit, it will drain your HP, as we've discussed earlier. Now, stamina will regenerate slowly while you're in the blocking mode. If you see a green shield pop up while your enemy is attacking and press L1 at the perfect moment, you will do a perfect block. This will give you an adrenaline boost plus the chance to counter, and better yet, a perfect block doesn't cost any stamina. If you are worried about using your stamina for blocking, there is the option to dodge. Again, you're looking for a green symbol to flash up and you can just use dodge using the left analog stick. Again, you need to know which way your opponent is coming at you so you can go in the right direction. Now, if you're feeling completely done in with battle and it's not going your way, there is the surrender option. You can press L1 and X to surrender, but you have to hope that they're going to respect the knightly virtues and actually allow you to do it and not just kill you. finally, I'll talk a little bit about a bow, because once it's leveled up with all the right perks, these are extremely powerful weapons. Now, when you're in battle, you can take a bow out using right on the directional pad, if you have one equipped. Hold R2 to load it and then let go to shoot. Now, while you have it loaded, it does use stamina, so it's a race against time to get that arrow loose. However, because we're going for realism here, there's no crosshair. There is nothing telling you how to get the perfect headshot. You have to learn how to use the bow and recognize how far you need to leave it when you're aiming. It's really challenging, quite tricky, but really rewarding if you get it right. Well, there you go. That is hopefully a lot of questions about the battle in Kingdom Come Deliverance answered. It is quite a tricky battle system. People who enjoy an in-depth and difficult battle experience will find Kingdom Come Deliverance quite rewarding. It's an incredible mix of trying to make something fun, but keeping it realistic, and definitely trying to not make it too frustrating. It's going to take time and skill to become a master. Now, if you have any more questions about the battle systems or weapons and armor, leave them in the comments below and I will do my very best to try and reach out to Warhorse and get those answered for you. In the meantime, don't forget to please like, comment and subscribe, because there is loads more coming up from PlayStation Access.